Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's 7/12, 24, and it's a Friday. I like to give you a video, think about a video on a Friday, just in case if I'm able to put a video out for the weekend. But I think this weekend I might be able to. I might have a surprise too, but we'll see. Depending on the weather. Fucking weatherman. They're wrong all the time. You know, I don't understand why they're wrong, because we live on a flat stationary plane. Can't you tell where the weather's going to go? I mean, we're not moving. It's simple. Just match up the cloud to where it's going, and then that's where it's going to rain. Very good. I'm proud of you. Okay, I want to talk about the plausible possibility of beyond flat Earth today, just for a brief moment. I want to talk about death, okay? Everybody who has experienced death has the same story. You know, they all go through this process of seeing the light, going back to the beginning of their lives, and it flashing in front of them. Okay? I want to sink my teeth into it. I want to explain to you if we do live in a digital world, which seems like we do. I think when you die, that is kind of like a memory down. Look at this idiot. This guy's going like 120 fucking miles per hour. That's great. Where are you going now? You're stuck in traffic, dickhead. I think it's like a download from everything that you've done here when you leave this place to remind you of everything. Because sometimes we forget. I mean, do you remember exactly what you were doing on such and such a date? 10 years ago? No, you don't. But maybe that's what it is. If we live in a digital world. Now the light, I don't know what the hell that is. I have no idea what that could be. Psychiatrists have explained that it's some kind of mysterious transport, or could be a wormhole, or who knows? Who knows? Everyone experiences a different death, but those two things do always come up with near experiences to death. And if I kind of look at a digital world and try to explain it to you, then that would be my philosophy on it. I was also thinking about water, and I brought this up before. Water is amazing. You know, everybody wants you to think that it rained on this world for 6 billion years, or I don't want to say a billion years. It was a billion-year rainstorm that created our oceans. Really? Where'd the salt come from? Oh, I know, there's an explanation for that, I'm sure. But I don't give a shit. It's bullshit, okay? All of this is... I mean, I don't know what's real and what's fake at this point. You know, I can't tell. I mean, I believe that we're in a building of some sort. That I do believe. But what's inside the building is the digital world. Because I think about the sky. You know, I think about the stars. You know, how could you see all of those stars all the way to the left and all the way to the right? And also that we're told that they're 6 trillion light years away. That doesn't make any sense, because they're lights in the sky. But where are they? They're not tangible objects, obviously. Just like you look at the planets, there's nothing tangible up there. But is it... how far up is it? Because I'm beginning to think it's not in the dome. I believe these are being projected, because all the pictures that we have, it gets up to a certain point where it's just blackness. There's nothing there. You know, you might be able to see the moon, and you might be able to see the sun, but anything else you cannot see at all. It's just all blackness. So where are the stars? Where exactly are they? You know, as I've said with the sun and the moon, that it is your own. You're seeing it. It's your. Everybody has their own moon and sun, and everybody, I think, has their own stars too. There's more than one sun, guys. Okay? There's several suns. Quadruple suns. Who knows? Infinite amount of suns. Who knows? But if everybody has their own sun and everybody has their own moon, well, then that's a projection up there. And there comes, thus, the digital world. Okay? That's my look on that. I mean, it makes sense to explain it to people, you know, that we could quite possibly be living in a building and everything that we're looking at is digital, you know, including the animals. I hate it when people do this. Yeah. Everybody who drives a BMW is a fucking idiot. I'm convinced, really. Every one of them. Lost my train of thought. But yeah, okay, so there you go. All right, that's my take on the digital world, because it seems that way. Look, we have NPCs all over the place around here. You know, every flat earther that I know is exactly 30 minutes away from me. It's amazing. It's almost like we asked for that. We want to meet flat earthers, but when we chose to be down here, we said to ourselves, well, I don't want a flat earther around me, you know, because it'll ruin my experience down here. Say I don't become a flat earther, you know. I mean, these are all things that you spoke to before you came down here that you don't remember. And the other lives that you don't remember, which I'm a big believer in that too, and I think that's deja vu. Deja vu it's an amazing feeling. I've had double deja vu one time, which was like, that was really weird. I don't want, that's a different video, but I mean that's just something to think about, you know. I mean, on the digital world, you know, it really is. It's amazing. But anyway, we all know that we're in some sort of container of some sort. I mean, that's the only way we can have air. It's the only way we can have gravity. I mean, air has to have a vacuum in order to exist. You know what I'm saying? Or contained, I mean, not a vacuum, but contained. You have to be in a container to have air. Else it would just, gone. Off into space, like a fart in the wind. That was from Shank's Show of Redemption, that's right. And I'm sure many other movies too, who knows. Don't even get me started on the movies. No originality at all whatsoever, none. They have nothing. They've given up with the movies at this point. I don't think there's anything worth a shit watching at all. I mean, I don't even really watch movies because I just don't have time for it. I did have time, however, to catch the presidential speech last night. Oh, that was just a beaut, wasn't it? You know, someone should ask Biden, who exactly is the vice president? Is it Trump? Or is it Harris? I don't know. He doesn't seem to quite know that. But you can see how scripted it was. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how scripted and how much bullshit politics can be. And it's always been this way. It's just we never really noticed it. You know, and well, I mean, I always knew that it was all bullshit, but I didn't look at it at the level that I'm looking at it now. You know, where shit, this goes all the way back to the beginning, basically. You know, oh yeah, well, with the questions that he's asked, he rehearsed all those. Do you realize he spent 6 days in Camp David preparing for this? Trump used to do this all the time. He had no preparation. He had nothing. He would tell you how it is. That's it. And whether he's trustworthy or not, I don't know. All I know is just take a look at the money that's in your pocket. Where were you when he was president? You were a hell of a lot better shape, right? I can contest to that. Motherfucker, gas prices are through the roof. It's ridiculous. It's a joke. For some of us who drive for a living, it sucks. And commute to work, it sucks. Even public transportation's through the roof. You might as well just fucking drive. I don't know which is cheaper now. At this point, the way the governor has made it in New York, it's probably cheaper just to drive. You know, oh, well, wait a minute, the congestion tax. Did they pass that yet? I don't know. They said they were, and they said they didn't. I can't keep track of this bullshit that they tell everybody because it's such nonsense. Politics are bullshit. So this fucking president sat in Camp David for 6 days rehearsing these answers. And you can tell he just was bursting out with the information. I mean, he did his usual stupidity, but, you know, you could just tell everything was rehearsed. You know, the journalist didn't ask one single fucking question. Worst journalist in history, I would say, at this point. So, he shouldn't be working. What the worst interview I've ever heard in my life. No question asking, nothing at all. Just him talking about bullshit. That's it. Like he always does, and makes very little sense. You see, at least the politicians that we had in the past, they were talking like politicians, which most of us don't understand because it's all bullshit. You know, they don't answer any questions. They just dance around it and give some other stuff made up, and they won't even cover it up with say, we'll look into it. You know, but they'll just dance around it and totally avoid the question. See, now with Biden, he's not even coherent. You can't understand the words that he's saying. That's the problem I have with him. Oh my God, he's just a disaster. What a fucking disaster. What's going to happen in the future? I don't know. Get your popcorn out, sit down, watch the show, because that's all it is. You know, they're making this shit up day by day. It's really not, it doesn't seem like there's anything scripted with this president. You don't really need to do anything. They just hit him for 3 years. I want you to think about this stuff, okay? And I know you've been thinking about it. I know, during the old days when it was locked down. Isn't it just perfect to put him in there, you know? And just lock everybody down for 3 years. Keep him confused while he's in the basement, the president I'm talking about, doing nothing, and everybody else are passing bills. He's just signing them off. I don't know what the hell he's signing. Oh, God. But you see how convenient it was? But it wasn't just us. It was the entire world. You know what I'm talking about? So, you know, it's amazing what we've been going through. You know, and then flat Earth. I mean, this will always amaze me, what we're living in here. There's nothing anybody can do anymore to a flat earther that's ever going to make him think that we live on a ball. Ever. You're done. There's too many things we have that nobody can explain. None of them. And it pisses me off to no end that these people just can't wake up. Because they're not doing any of their research. They're not doing any experiments. They're not going down to the beach. They're not researching. They're not checking. There's no curvature. They're just sitting there giving numbers and bullshit and debating of nonsense. These fucking debates. I mean, really, what is this shit? I mean, what is there to debate anymore? Look, you either believe it or you don't. You either stay underneath the rock or you come out underneath from the rock and look. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to fucking argue with you. I don't give a shit. You do what you want. But the time's going to come where you're going to have no choice and say, hey, I look stupid now that I think everything I live on a ball. Yeah, that's right. That time's going to come soon. So I don't give a shit. I really don't. I have no desire to bother even communicating to anybody who's not who's a ball earther. There's no reason to. It's a waste of our time. We have too much research. We have an app now, okay? It's David Weiss's app that has everything on it. And if If people can't download that app, go through it, it's got chapters, it's got more shit in there, it's got a lifetime of stuff for people to look at. Because you can't remember when YouTube, the good old days, the friendly days of YouTube. You remember those days? You could find me, you could find all my friends, you can find everything you needed to find out, and some new things on Flat Earth. Now, you can't find dick, except for dickheads that all they do is take other people's videos, make fun of them, and then do that, and explain bullshit, and then just regurgitate nonsense that we already know because we had to go back and learn it all. We had to go back to school because everything we learned in school was bullshit. Everything. Even math. Math doesn't work. Zero doesn't exist. And if you're putting that in any equation, well then your computations are going to be wrong. You cannot figure out how far away something is at all with that kind of math. Because they're made up numbers. They have to come up with something to continue this fucking lie that's been going on all of your life. You grew up looking at a spinning wet ball in class for 14 fucking years of your life. What else you gonna believe? You know? Hey, there it is. Someone's showing it to me. Someone's showing me diagrams of the layers of Earth. Oh shit. Isn't that great? Look at them all. Oh, fuck. But you were never told that we only dug down 8.5 miles. Nothing beyond that. You weren't told that. No, you weren't told that we were spinning at 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. Okay? You weren't told that. No. Because then you would have questioned something when you were a kid and asked the teacher, hey, teach, I don't fucking feel any movement at all. Why the fuck don't I feel any movement? You were never told the equation of the curvature of Earth. You were never taught that. Because if you were, you would have just went down to the beach, take a pair of binoculars, and then pull up a boat. Say, hey, wait a minute, boy, I don't understand that. Why can't I see that? The only people who knew about it were probably the physics people, and that's a very small group of people. Anyway, I want you to think about all these things. Us flat earthers already know them, and hopefully we'll speak. I can put something out tomorrow. See how it goes. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.